Enterprise Alliance decide to visit the Sampath Bank marketing division to get more information on what strategy would work best for marketing their new bank loan.
They haven't been allowed to film very much of us today, so... Okay, we've done quite a bit of research. We've spoken to Muslims from Colombo. We've actually managed to speak to some in the Eastern Province as well. And basically from everyone I've spoken to, we've found there's quite a split in opinion as to how important it is to accept or refuse interest in the bank. Now we're well aware that I've done some research on the accounts that you offer at the moment. For people who want interest, you cater for them very well, obviously. You know, there's high interest, low interest, flexible accounts, all the rest of it. I wanted to ask you about your current accounts and what the charges and interest rates are. Because what we were thinking of is a completely free current account. So as far as the bank's concerned, the interest which you would be paying, you use to offset the charges. So people who don't want any interest, but they still want all the, the technology, the ATM, the online banking, all the flexibility which Sampath offers. Okay.
But of course there will be other charges, like if you take the normal tariff guide for the fixed deposits and savings accounts and bank accounts, you find the fee-based income. Apart from the interest income, you also find a fee-based income.
Yeah.
Fees that are charged for various services that are coming with the vehicle.
Okay.
So rather that is available with you.
Yeah.
So you can actually design the product, and then you can suggest, okay, this is going to be the interest, and we're not going to call it interest, we call it something else, or some mechanism, and this is going to be the fee-based. Fee-based income will be there anyway for the fees.
In terms of the idea of offsetting the charges with the interest, I don't know enough about at what levels they both are. Would that work in terms of the bank still making a profit? If you were to say, we're going to give you completely free banking, but we're not going to give you any interest, would that be profitable to the bank over the...
What do you think?
Well, I would expect it would be.
After visits to outside locations, internal discussions at the hotel and meetings with the Sampath Bank marketing personnel, Enterprise Alliance finishes the task in groundbreaking time.
Well, we started off by getting to know the information that we could get in terms of the Sharia law, the Islamic banking. Two of my colleagues, they went try to enter and meet a scholar, but unfortunately we weren't given permission. But until then, I was there. I called up a few Islamic centers, and I got to know as much information as possible in terms of Islamic financial banking. Once we got our information, once we understood exactly what this whole Islamic banking concept is all about, we started giving in ideas, different concepts of how we can progress. And then we went to Sampath Bank, confirmed some ideas with Mr. Anura, and then got things sorted out.
Is it Commercial Bank of Ceylon? Is that
commercial bank? Just commercial bank.
No, it is. Commercial Bank is Commercial Bank of Ceylon.
Oh, that's right. That's
Whereas Bank of Ceylon is just Bank of Ceylon.
yeah.
So what did that woman tell you? That Commercial Bank don't have any...
They don't have any exams. Neither between them. Yeah, and also we are going to launch a logging scheme for our customers. In our research, we have found out that the Eastern region found that most of the Eastern people do. Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure.
Hello.
Sharia banking as well. Like there's an opportunity, and like there are opportunities in Eastern Province for Sharia banking. So recommending you to come but they basically want us to concentrate on one single savings product. But we can recommend that Sharia banking suits this area since we get many Muslims in that area.
Lots of what?
Muslim crowd.
Yeah, but they told us that already, didn't they? They told us that's why they want to make it.
Yeah, that's right. So we can recommend it.
I thought that's what the guy was trying to tell us at the bank, is that you can.
Maybe we can go for a fixed deposit, like a 20% of that we can touch anytime we want, but the rest, that is 80%, we can't touch.
But
We
how,
have to-
what's the product? How are we making any money?
Like from the fixed deposit part, that is the long-term part, we can make money. And the savings part is like we can touch it anytime we want.
Basically, we're just saying like what kind of account it will be, but we haven't decided what actual product
That's right. Yeah.
we're.
Shall we decide?
Synergy have formed their strategy as well, and it is now time to put both Muslim banking loan strategies to the test at the boardroom.
Good morning. Welcome to the boardroom.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Today we have 3 new bankers who's going to help us judge this contest. We have Taraka Ranwela, who's the Assistant General Manager, Marketing and Deposits at Sampath Bank. Then we have Chintaka Yapa, who's a Brand Manager at Sampath Bank. And Rohana Disanayaka, Chief Manager, Deposits and Remittances at Sampath Bank. So, welcome to the boardroom, gentlemen.
Thank you.
And I would say now for the first team to make their presentation.
Good morning, gentlemen. Welcome to our presentation, which is basically the development of a new product for Sampath Bank for Eastern Muslim market in Sri Lanka. Just a bit about the introduction of Sampath Bank, as all of you may know now. Sampath Bank has been established for 22 years and third largest private bank in Sri Lanka. It has got into the hearts and minds of the Sri Lankan consumer as a bank that is highly innovative and highly technological driven and has a diversified portfolio of various products. In May 2009, when Sri Lanka had the peace dividend, it gave a lot of business opportunities for different organizations because it opened up the markets in the north and east. Sampath Bank was very effective, up to date is very effective in terms of how it has gone expanded into the north and east regions and basically expanded their businesses in that area. As we know, the eastern market in Sri Lanka, the eastern province in Sri Lanka mainly consists of the Muslims, mainly within the Mua sectors in Sri Lanka. And there's a belief within most of these Muslims in terms of when it deals with banking and the interest rate that they shouldn't really take interest because interest in Arabic terms, which is called riba, riba is prohibited or haram in Islam. As you can see on the slide, where there's a verse from the Holy Quran itself which states that Allah has permitted trade but prohibited interest, clearly stating that interest is completely not allowed in Islam, which means that Sampath Bank may tend to lose a certain number of potential customers, potential Muslim customers, who will feel that, okay, they are not providing a particular product for us, which has taken off this interest aspect from the banking product, and so they would lose a lot of potential revenue as well, which is why we moved on, we thought of developing a particular product. But as Mr. Taraka mentioned within his briefing yesterday, before Sampath Bank develops a new product, they have a proper market survey and they understand what the true needs and wants of customers are. So similarly, we undertook our market research, in which our methodology is where we had a customer and competitor analysis, and we did this through methods of face-to-face interviews and telephone interviews with different customers and key professionals within the banking industry. So just highlight on what our key findings customer analysis was and how the other ways in which we took the customer analysis I call upon Prashant.
Yes, through the plausible research we've done, we are able to provide you with both the customer and the competitor analysis. So we were able to interview both the customers and key opinion leaders, as Munaza mentioned. We were able to interview them face-to-face and through the telephone as well. The representative sample of Muslim community customers from the Eastern Province. Not only from the Eastern Province, we were able to do our research based on Colombo as well, so that we can have a general idea about the perceptions of the Muslim with regard to banking. and therefore our research was not limited to a particular segment. According to the research and the information provided by the interviewees, we can see that 79% itself will not accept any kind of interest, will leave the interest behind, or they will use it as for charitable purposes. As you can see, 21% accepted the interest. And we discovered there are diverse findings in our research. The key areas in Eastern Province rather, Akkarepattu, Gatankudi, and Sandaramadu, Potuvil, Betkula, Ampara. You can see it's a mixed bag of reactions. When it comes to Sandaramadu, it's a higher upper middle class. So as you can see, they are quite interested in getting the interest. Not only getting the interest, they used to bargain with the bankers in getting a higher interest. When it comes to middle class, you can see the Muslims in Akkarepattu and Gatankudi disliked the fact that they were offered an interest.
A key point I have to highlight here is that you may wonder how we got custom analysis from these areas. What we did was, well, we spoke to the branch managers of Sampath Bank. Along with that, we got a few contacts from the customers we met in the area of Oldmoor Street. We got contacts of people within the eastern areas. We called them up and we actually asked exactly what your person living in the eastern area, what his true opinion is. Then in terms of so this is basically the key findings highlighted from the customer analysis, where they said, as we mentioned before, high percentage of Muslim customers dislike interest, and whereas they like an option called profit sharing, which would be explained later on in our presentation.
Continuing about industry-leading products, there are no direct competitors offering exactly the same thing with all the the extra things we've come up with. So in terms of profitability for Sampath, it's going to massively increase your customer base. You're tapping into a whole new market. And despite the low initial margins, by increasing your customer base, it will increase the overall revenue. And also, it creates a market for more products going into the Islamic banking market without necessarily all the legislation of the Sharia rules. Things like Islamic loans, mortgages, things which are currently becoming popular within the UK. Now this campaign will of course be adapted and translated into Tamil to suit the market which we're aiming at, but as English is our preferred language, that's how we've designed it, because we understand it much better, but I'm sure that Sampath would be able to provide a fantastic marketing team that could adapt it as necessary. Thank you very much. Any questions?
Start up of the question. See your product. I seem to feel that it's a Me Too product. There is no distinct differentiator for the Muslim community feel that this is targeted at them per se, right? It seems to be sort of a generic product from the presentation. So my question is, now given the backdrop of that, in your opinion, how would you say, why would Eastern Muslims, or for that matter Muslims, want to use this particular product from Sampath Bank? How would your answer be based on the product that you...
Well, as I'm sure you know very well, Sampath Bank has been one of the most widely accepted banks when branching into the northern and eastern regions of Sri Lanka. So despite the fact that it's not strictly an Islamic bank, it is very widely accepted. We didn't want to rule out other people because we think that this could be a product which could also interest other people.
Okay, so
Sorry, also the loyalty, sir, because we personally met about 3 to 4 customers who said that they've been with your bank for quite a number of years, Muslims, but they have no choice regarding interest. They either keep it within the bank or they just take it off and give it to charity. But since they've been with you for so long, they want to stay with you. But if you all come up with a profit sharing option, it would be so much more greater for them.
You all were more focused on driving on our brand image and the sort of the image that the bank has created to drive on that in terms of driving your product through to the market. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. That's one part of the strategy, yes. But I think it's important to note that Sampath isn't an Islamic bank. So there will always be Islamic customers who, from some of the more strict sects, they will simply say, we're only banking with an Islamic bank. You're never going to reach those customers. So we're trying to just create this very ethical, well, you've already created that kind of image, and we want to play on that because it's worked for you so far.
I seem to get the idea that you think it's all good
and it's totally profit making. I haven't seen any element of a loss making scenario.
There is a loss-making scenario.
We didn't see that. Why?
There's a loss-making scenario just as there is in the way the banks make their money to give interest. You know, when they play the stock market, there's always the loss-making element.